You know how we see different realities? Here's something somebody taught me a long time ago. We make it very, very complicated instead of simple. Now, here's an example. Now, this is only an example. You know the well-known detective, the English detective Sherlock Holmes, and his friend Dr. Watson? They had just broke a big case. And they're tired. They decide they're going to go to the countryside and have a rest. They're going to go camping. So off they go to the moors of England, and they set up their camp, get all ready. They go to bed, and through the night, Sherlock Holmes wakes up, and he goes like this to his buddy, and he says, Watson, wake up. Watson says, what is it? He says, I want you to look up and see what you see. So Watson looks up, and he says, oh, I see a beautiful, clear moonlight sky with unbelievable millions of stars. He says, I see the Little Dipper, the Big Dipper. I see the moon, and I see this and that. He says, and beyond it, he says, there's galaxies we've never seen before. And he goes on for about 20 minutes explaining all the galaxies and everything about it. And finally he stops. And he says to Sherlock Holmes, what do you see, Holmes? He says, elementary, my dear man. Somebody has stolen our tent. Keep it simple. You know how I keep saying to you, please don't listen to my words. Please don't do it. Try and listen to what the words are trying to convey. That's the most important thing. Because when you start to talk truth, you have no other choice but to talk in metaphors. And a metaphor is trying to describe the undescribable. Do not listen to the word. It's the same if you go to church, and I don't care what church you belong to. If you go to your church, when the minister, the priest, the rabbi, or whatever is speaking, don't listen to his words. Try and listen beyond the word, beyond the metaphor, to what the truth really means. It's the meaning beyond the word. Because truth has no form. It's formless. It's before the creation of this physical reality. So remember, we all live in separate realities, and that's really a very important thing to remember, because you can listen to whatever a friend is saying to you. Not what you think, but what they think. And when you start listening to what people really say, you'll be very, very surprised the beauty that lies behind the word, what they're trying to convey. Always look for the beauty. Always look for what you call love, because love is a neutral mind which is in the state of the impersonal. And when you're in the state of the impersonal, you're not judging. And that is the most incredible state in this world to be in. You know, when you first meet somebody and you fall in love, and you think, wow, what a beautiful looking person. I really want to get to know them. And you fall in love. You're in the impersonal because you're not judging. And you get married, and you go from the impersonal to the personal. And that's a big mistake. Because then you start judging again. You get fed up judging, you get fed up with the negativity, you go back into the impersonal again, and you think, now why was I angry at my wife or my husband? Because I see them as beautiful again. Now your mind is just jumping back and forth, and you're using thought, and that rudder is leading you the wrong way. You've hit the rocks. You don't like that. So you turn the rudder again, you get off the rocks, you get into the sea where it's calm, where you see love and understanding. You're back on an even keel, you're back in the now, and you're happy. Thought is one of the main principles that take you through life. They're your guide. Change your thoughts, your world will change immediately. You can prove that anytime you want. You know, when you're in a bad mood, you're angry, you're hostile, you're absolutely put off with life. Life stinks. It's not worth living. You go to bed and you wake up and something's happened. The sun's shining. Everything's nice. The whole world has changed. You feel good. You feel happy. The world hasn't changed. All that's changed is your thoughts. Now, this isn't some sarcastic person will come up and say, well, you tell me this chair's thought? Of course it's not. It's energy turned into matter. But whatever you think about this chair is your reality. If you see this chair as a bad design, that's your thought. Another person comes along and says, that chair's a beautiful design. That's their thought, because they're creating their own reality, and we do it every moment of every day. This is why the mystics will talk about we all live in separate realities. We all see differently. But there is one common truth beyond our personal reality, and that's the spiritual reality. That's the truth that lies within. And that's where you're supposed to head.